with you.
Hey, glad you came back. So today we're going to the Middle East, right? Lebanese, right? Our stuffed cabbage part 2. This is going to be Mahshi Malfouf, right? Stuffed cabbage, Lebanese stuffed cabbage, right? We're going to have lamb in it. It's going to have a lot of herbs and spices in it. I know you're going to enjoy this. I know you saw the thumbnail, but look at this. This is what we got. Yeah. And I'm going for it. I'm going to have a little bite here. I can't wait to get in this. You really don't even need a fork to eat it, but I'm using it. With the sauce that we made in the previous video, the mint dipping sauce. Oh yeah. I know you're going to enjoy this. Stay tuned. I know you're going to like it, because I'm loving it. Let's get to it. Hey, this is Shrashira. That's the best elevator music I ever heard. All right, the first thing we want to do, we're going to prep our vegetables real quick. So I have an onion here. We're going to use half of this onion. Okay. Now for our herbs, we have cilantro here, a bunch of cilantro. We have some mint, right? We have some dill. And we have some parsley. So we're going to go ahead and prep these up real quick. And then we'll get to the next step. Now we don't really need a lot of onion, but all this is to taste. It's completely up to you. I'm going to use as much as you want to use. Now you want all of these to be cut, finely. You don't want big chunks. And could you do this in the food processor? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I like this rock and chop for this. It's part of the Miracle Blade set. Now the same thing, we're going to do with the vegetables, these other vegetables here. Now, you see the stems on the bottom of these? See the stems? You see that? I don't want them to be in the main portion, but I'm not going to throw them away. So I have a little bowl here. I'm going to be putting the stems in those because we're actually going to use those stems when we start working with the cabbage. When we start separating the cabbage, we're going to need those stems. And so I'll be saving the stems from the dill, from the parsley, from the cilantro. I'm going to be saving them. The mint, I don't have to. Get some of these stems here. Then once I figure I've had enough stems, then I'm going to just pull. Right, I'm going to pull the little leaves. See the little leaves from the dill? Just going to slide them right off. And just discard those stems. Because I don't want to put all the stems, use all the stems for the cabbage, just some, just to give it just a little bit more flavor. So that's why I do it the way I did, so I can see what I'm working with. And if I need more, I can always take it at this point. Okay, that's enough of this, so let's chop this up. Like I said, you could do all this in the food processor if you want. I'm doing it this way, so you're able to see what I'm putting in there as far as the ingredients, so I can lay it all out for you. But if I wasn't doing that way, I would just pop all this right in the food processor, all at one time. Okay, put this in the ramekin. Go. All right, now the mint, we're just going to pull the leaves off the mint. I'm not worrying about any stems with the mint. I just want the leaves. Okay, now we're going to chop these up. There we go. This in the ramekin. Now let's do the parsley. For the parsley, just going to cut the stems off. These are going to go right in the bowl. A bowl here for stems. And then the rest of the stuff, we're just going to chop up. Careful of your fingers. All right, into the ramekin. All right, now lastly, we have our cilantro. But if you're in Lebanon or the Middle East, you won't say cilantro. You say coriander. But we're going to get these stems too, some of these. All right, let's cut these down now. All right, now this goes in the ramekin. It's always good to do this prep work early if you can. So now I'm going to take my press and seal. We're going to seal these bad boys up and put them in the fridge because we're going to be using them here pretty soon. I just wanted to get this part out of the way because it's almost the hardest part. Almost. It's definitely the most time consuming, if not the hard part. But the most tedious part is the actual cabbage, so it's always nice to get this stuff out of the way first. and press and seal. Veggies ready. These are going to go in the fridge till I need them. So I'll see you when it's time to mix up the meat. Or maybe when I do the cabbage. We'll see. Okay, so these are the ingredients we're going to need. Yeah, it looks like a lot, but it's actually going to go real fast, okay? It's going to go really fast. So here we have our mint, right, that we chopped up earlier. We have our dill, okay? We have about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, right? We have about a teaspoon of cinnamon, teaspoon of pepper, black pepper, teaspoon of kosher salt, teaspoon of ground cumin, teaspoon of ground coriander. Here we have our cilantro that we chopped up, a bunch of cilantro there. We have our parsley that we chopped up. Here are onions, right? And here we have broth. Now you could use vegetable broth, chicken broth, beef broth. It's up to you, okay? Or you could just use water. But I have about 4 cups of beef broth here. I'm not sure yet how much of it I'm going to use. We're going to see. I have 1 cup of tomato puree and 1 cup of rice, okay? And here we have our stems from our dill, our cilantro, and our parsley. Of course, we have our head of cabbage here, right? We'll be taking care of that here in a minute. And then we have 1 pound of ground lamb. That's right, we're going to put lamb in it today. So let's start getting this ready. Let's get this lamb ready. Now for the lamb, we're going to add our onions in. These are the the diced, small diced onions, right? Those go in. And our cilantro, all of that goes in. Our parsley, put all that in. Our dill, the dill goes in. Our mint, gotta put our mint in. This is gonna be like flavor packed. Then we're gonna put our rice in. Now before we add the spices, we're gonna mix all this up. And now we're going to add our salt. Our cinnamon. All right, don't dump it all in one spot. Our pepper. Our cumin. Coriander. Let's get this mixed. It's almost like you're kneading dough, so to speak. Almost. Now you're going to add the tomato paste. Then get this all mixed in there too. All right, and kind of rub it around, smear it a little bit, and then mix it. Okay, now we're going to add about half of our tomato puree. Mix that in just to see how it sits. Oh yeah. We're probably going to add the other half in here because you don't want it soupy, right? but you do want it moist. And there is actually one more thing I want to add to this, because lamb is not really fatty, ground lamb. So you want to add fat to it. So we're going to be adding some fat to this as well. We add the rest of this tomato puree and all that out of there. And the fat's going to help it, you know, stay nice and moist, believe it or not. Oh yeah, this is good. So make sure you get it all mixed in, because this is going to go back in the refrigerator while we work on the cabbage. Now what I want to add is about a couple tablespoons of oil. Okay? I'm using canola oil. All right, mix the oil into it. And this is going in the fridge. Next step, cabbage. Good old press and seal. In the fridge. Okay, so now we have a pot here. This is about 10, 12 quart pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to add our stems, right? Add those in, right? And we're going to put this on the stove. We're going to bring it to a boil so we can do the cabbage. Now while that's coming up to a boil, we're going to go ahead and prep the cabbage. Okay, now for the cabbage, we're going to take off the outermost leaves that are probably, you know, bruised or damaged. You know, so we're going to get rid of those. And you should always do that on the cabbage. So let's look around. Now this core, we want to remove this core. Okay, so what you want to do, you're going to go in at about a 45-degree angle, right? We'll cut all the way around the core of the cabbage. And what this is going to do is going to allow you to pull out the core. Now, there's more core than this, so you can also go in behind that and dig out some more. Because you want the leaves to come loose on their own while they're in the water. And this is going to let you accomplish that. Now what some people do at this point, they will go and pull off, you know, the leaves like this. Now they're separated. You don't have to do that, right? Because it's gonna, the core is removed. So once you put it in that hot water, as it softens up, it's going to naturally release itself. So now I'm just looking for some rough patches like this guy just pulled off. See if I can, see, look at that. You don't want that. I'm not eating that. So if I'm not eating it, I'm not going to let you eat it. Okay, so now we're waiting on the water to boil with all the nice, fragrant, aromatic stems in it. Okay, so the water's boiling. We're going to add our cabbage in carefully. I'm doing it core side down. Going to give this about a minute or so, maybe 2, and then we're going to turn it over so the other side can get warmed up. And what's going to happen, the leaves are going to slowly start detaching themselves from the cabbage as a whole because the core is gone, so there's nothing to hold it there, and that's what you want. This is not going to cook the cabbage all the way through. Now, that's not what's going to happen. What's actually happening is we're softening the cabbage so that we're able to roll it very easily later. And if you know anything about cabbage, if you take raw cabbage and you try to roll it up, it's not going to work right. It's going to break up, snap, crackle, pop. But this is going to soften it up so you will be able to do that. And the flavors from those stems, those herbs, is just going to give it a little something extra. And you know, when you're making stuff, you want to make the best product that you can make. So this is very important. As subtle as it is, it's very important. That could be the difference between your recipe and someone else's. That extra little oomph that you give it. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, let's turn this guy around. Turn him over. The leaves are already starting to loosen up. And that's what we want. So we're going to give this about a minute and a half, couple minutes. I don't know if you can really, let me see if I can turn this. You see, look. Can you see it's already starting to release itself? So give this a couple minutes, and you want to pull the leaves off as they release themselves. Don't tear them off. Let the water do the work. That little shake, shake. Look at this. Look at this guy. See, look. This came off on itself, but I'm just going to give it like another 30 seconds under the water before I take them all the way out. And I have a little baking sheet here that I'll be using to sit them on so they cool down, so we can work with them. Alright, let's take this guy out. One. See if there's any other ones coming loose yet. Not quite. So we'll turn it again. Another couple minutes. And when you look at the cabbage, you can almost see which one is about to come off next, because you know they're layered. You know, so if you want to agitate it, you can. If not, you don't have to. Yep, just shake a little bit. Let that hot water get in there. See, look, this guy is coming off. But I'm going to put it right back under the water 30 seconds after the initial come off. Look at the next one. Look at this guy's about to come off. Look at this. Off. See that? Nope. Back in the water you go. And you keep doing this until you've gotten all your cabbage leaves. This guy out. Okay. Put that guy back in there for a bit. Well, I look at the other ones, so they're about to come off. Let's keep going around. And if we need more cabbage leaves, I have more cabbage in here. I have more cabbage I could, cook if we need it. So you want to, have an extra head of cabbage. This depends on how you're rolling it. Now you could use this broth that it's making to make one hell of a vegetable stock. Now I'm using the young core, the heart, if you will, the heart of the cabbage, because we're going to be lining our pot with these, right? For protection, if you will. So that's why I'm continuing this to get those as well. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to do another cabbage just to make sure, and then I'm going to let the cabbage cool down, okay, and then we're going to prep the cabbage further so we can get these rolls going. Okay, now we want to start processing the cabbage. So what we want to do, now that they've cooled down, we want to cut out the thick stem in the middle. See? This hard, veiny part, we want to cut that out. We don't want it, not right now. And we want to be left with these halves. So let's go through. We'll cut these bad boys out. Right? Real simple, straight through. Because we're actually going to be using these ribs a little later in the cooking process. So I'm just trying to lay them out by size. It'll make sense here in a minute or two. Alright, let's start with these here. Let's set these up. Cut this in half. Half. This guy's going to be able to go. The ones that are too bulky, they're going to be used as protection. I might keep that one in there. This one is. And you'll see what I mean here in a little bit. Because these rolls, they're going to be relatively small, right? Compared to the last ones that I did. So you want to keep that in mind as well. And if we need to cut up more, we'll cut more up. Not a biggie. Alright, so now we're going to take one of our leaves, okay, lay it out, right, and take roughly about a teaspoon or so of our filling, put it in, going to roll it. You don't have to tuck the sides in, You just want to roll it up. Nice and rolled. And we sit right there. Grab another one. This how you can cut in half. Kind of on the larger side. Teaspoon of filling. And we roll it. Right? In it goes. And we're going to do this until we're all out of filling. And you don't want to roll it too tight because you know the rice that's in it is going to expand when it cooks. So keep that in mind as well. Because if you roll them too tight, they'll pop. Just roll them up. Now with the pot, we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil in here. Just a little bit. And then we're going to put some onion slices on the bottom. Right? Because I don't want the stuffed cabbage to be touching the bottom. Now I'm also going to be using the scraps from the cabbage that we didn't use. Okay? We want this to be layered on the bottom. And that is in case, you know, there's some scorching. You don't want to scorch your cabbage rolls, right? Now we add the cabbage rolls. Okay? Just going to put them right in. End to end against themselves. Seam side down. Because we're putting them end against end, you don't have to worry too much about the rice coming out. Not too much. I mean, this is something to think about, but let me see if I can get you a closer look. Right? So you can see I'm putting them in there in layers. So as you can see, this makes quite a bit. It's a nice little snack. Or it could be a main dish. It's completely up to you. And if you can cook this in a non-stick pan, a non-stick pot, please do so. Just in case. Okay, now this is going to go on the stove. Now I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so now we're going to turn the heat on medium. Put the lid on it. And we're going to let this go on medium heat for about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to add our broth. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. You can see, you can hear, it's kind of percolating there, and now we're going to add our broth. We're going to add our broth. Start off with like 3 cups probably. Yep, 3 cups. Then we're going to take a plate and we're we're going to put a heat resistant plate on top so they don't float away. And put the lid back on. Okay, so I'm having to fast track this now because Mama Straw's going to be home here pretty soon. So I'm turning the heat up to medium high, right? I'm going to let this go until most of the liquid is absorbed, which shouldn't take that long. You're talking probably what, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then I'm going to add the remaining 1 cup of broth and let that cook for an hour. Okay. So the liquid's pretty much been evaporated. So I'm going to add the last cup of broth here. And I turn it down to low. As low as the stove will get. And we're going to let this go for an hour. And then we'll be ready to go. See you in an hour. All right, time's up. Let's go and plate this bad boy up here. Let's get this going. Let's see if we can tip this over without making a big mess. Let's see. Quite nice, quite nice. Let me just pull off the protective lettuce, the protective cabbage. Let me pull that off. And the onions there. We don't need that. It did its job. Put some little parsley leaves on it. Parsley on it. Go. Now we're going to add our sauce. Can't forget about the sauce. Oh yeah. Gotta add the sauce. Gonna put it in a little sauce container here. There you go. Get a little bit of parsley here. Right in there. There we go. Now I think I'm going to add another piece of stuffed cabbage. Yeah. So here we have it. A Mahshi Malfouf. Yeah. Stuffed cabbage. Right? We have lamb in it. A Lebanese dish. So many herbs and aromatics are in this. I know you enjoyed this. Hey, as a matter of fact, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, hey, hit the subscribe button. Join the peanut gallery. You know our arms are open. And we leave the light on for you so you can find your way to us. We have room. If you can, share me out. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if we're not connected on Instagram, go to Instagram. Put my name in. Shrashira. Look for the gray cat. And let's connect. That being said, I'm hungry. I'm about to get in on this. Malfouf. Mahshi Malfouf. We're going for it. Thanks for watching.
Spirit man.